Hello, everybody. Happy Mother's Day. I'm Sierra Sullivan with Lifestyle Eyes, and I have a little story I want to share with you about my mother on this beautiful day in honor of all of the mothers out there watching this and all of the mothers to be. In fact, I actually consider myself a mother of many things, although I personally do not have children. So, this real message is for all women, essentially. So I grew up with three sisters, and I had an adorable, wonderful mother who was very talented and very powerful and very loving. And yet, as a woman, she always struggled with her body image. She struggled with her weight. She yo-yo dieted. She was always on the latest fad, and when it came to trying to lose weight, Oprah was, her not mentor, but her model, because she really related to Oprah and Oprah's struggles. So very much like that. Now, many of you know this, and for those of you that are new to my list, I lost my mother at the age of 24. So this Mother's Day is actually my 15th year without a mother to celebrate on Mother's Day in person with. Of course, I celebrate her all the time and every day. And she left some huge, lasting wisdoms with me and my sisters. And one of the ones that I talk about often is what I want to share with you today. So she dieted her whole life. And was she a thin woman by model standards? No. I mean, who is, right? Was she curvy and lovely and maybe had a few extra pounds, maybe 20 to 30 extra pounds at any given time on her frame? Give or take, yes. But I loved her. She was fun to hug. She was cuddly. She was lovely. She was fabulous. And she had the brightest, biggest, most infectious smile. However, she passed on a lot of that body image, or that, the hatred of her body, to my sisters and I, because that is what happens when mothers, when mothers aren't doing the deep inner work to love themselves. Now, this is generational, and I think each generation gets better and better. And my mission is to help all the generations that I can touch while I'm here on this planet to become more empowered and more in love with yourself and more self-care oriented as women. But unfortunately, my mom was not that way. She worked herself into the grind all the time. She was very frustrated with life, and she ultimately did not love or appreciate her body. She abused it. She abused it with diet pills. She abused it with alcohol. She abused it with food that was not healthy for her, that she probably just didn't know wasn't healthy for her. I can go on and on. But regardless, as four young girls growing up, and the image of my mother is what we took on. Now, she died of cancer, as I mentioned, when I was 24 years old, and she had 2 good years. And in those 2 years, the beauty of being able to, know that somebody's going to die is that you can have closure, you can have goodbyes, you can, prepare for the funeral. And so one day, we had decided that we were going to create a video of her life to be played at her wake. She wanted a closed casket funeral. And so my sisters and I got together and we created this collage of her life. And so she'd already entered hospice care. It was getting towards the end, we could tell. And at one point we had her come downstairs and watch the video. It was my whole family and my mother. And so there's a dying woman literally sitting there watching her life flash before her eyes. And she started to cry. And she looked at each of us and she said, "Girls, I was never fat. I was never fat." It took to her dying day to look back at her life and see all of the energy and the years of wasted time and effort and unhealthy behavior. And now realizing it's over and she had it all wrong. Because people are not going to remember her for the size of her thighs. I can guarantee you that. They remember her for the size of her eyes, for the bigness and the brightness of her eyes, for her smile, for her legacy, for how she touched people. And she touched many, many people. So I share this message with you today on Mother's Day because it is so important that we take the time to, number one, recognize as mothers what are we saying to ourselves, and how is that impacting our children? And how can we become more loving of ourselves? And I also share this to all the women who are watching this and the men, because we can't waste any more precious life force energy on hating our bodies. Begin to accept and love yourself as is, and you'll be able to lovingly, gently, and powerfully shift into what you would like it to be. But it starts with self-acceptance first. So I wish each and every one of you a very happy Mother's Day. If you have a mother, love her, thank her, and acknowledge where she's never been, she's not been perfect either, and tell her she's beautiful and amazing as she is, because she knows not what she does, and she's doing the best she can. And if you're a mother, it's time for you to step up into your own self-care and your own empowerment and put yourself first, fill your tanks, and do what you can to break the vicious cycle of putting what your beliefs and your fears and your disempowering places onto your children. It's never too late, no matter how old they are or how young they are. So happy Mother's Day, everybody. And I want to just share this picture of my mother. This was taken 2 months before she died, so you can see that even in 2 months away from her death, she was radiant and she had a gorgeous smile and gorgeous eyes. Happy Mother's Day. Blessings.